9. Troll A Platform. Built during the early 1990s, the Troll A Platform is located in the Troll gas field off Norway's western coast. This 1,549-foot, gravity-based structure is considered one of the most complex engineering projects in world history. It's also widely considered to be the largest object moved by mankind. But this isn't exactly true. The Troll A Platform is actually the second largest object ever moved by humans, ranking behind GFX C Platform, another oil rig. Over a week-long period, from May 10th to May 17th, 1996, it was towed more than 120 miles from the Norwegian village of Vats to its current location in the North Sea. In 1996, the 683,600-ton Troll A Platform was awarded the Guinness World Record for being the largest offshore gas platform on Earth. And it became even larger in 2010, when it underwent an expansion in the form of a new module, which consists of living quarters for workers and additional equipment to support increased production. Today, the facility extracts oil from 40 wells, and from the oil field, the gas is transported through various pipelines to a processing plant. In addition to being recognized for its size, the Troll A Platform holds one of the most unique world records out of any of the oil rigs on today's list: the site of the world's deepest underwater concert. This was awarded in 2006 following a performance given by Georgian-British singer-songwriter Katie Malua. The concert occurred at the base of one of the structure's hollow legs, at a depth of 994 feet below sea level. 8. GFX C Platform. Located in the Norwegian portion of the North Sea, the GFX oil field is home to multiple rigs. Included among them is the GFX C Platform, which was built in 1989 following the construction of GFX A in 1986 and GFX B in 1988. Operated by the Norwegian state-owned energy company Equinor, GFX C sits 720 feet below the waves and is 1,250 feet tall, which means that the top 538 feet of it sits above sea level. It's taller than the Eiffel Tower, and it's the largest object ever moved by mankind. In 2001, the three GFX platforms reached a combined peak average production level of 180,000 barrels per day, and its single-day production record was achieved on October 7, 1994, with 605,965 barrels worth of oil. Oil that's extracted from the GFX field is first transferred onto loading buoys, while natural gas is transported to a processing facility through a pipeline before being exported. In addition to siphoning oil from deep within the Earth, each GFX platform serves other purposes. GFX A partially operates as a storage facility for stable crude oil from nearby oil fields. And according to Equinor's website, gas and oil from GFX B is transported to GFX A and C for processing, storage, and export. 7. Baldpate Platform. Located 120 miles off the Louisiana coast in the Gulf of Mexico, the Baldpate Platform is owned and operated by the Hess Corporation. At 1,902 feet high, it's the second tallest freestanding structure in water following the Petronus Platform, which you'll also learn about in today's video. As a compliant tower, the Baldpate Platform was designed to be more flexible than traditional fixed tower platforms. And this gives it the benefit of being able to move up to 10 feet laterally, or side to side, during storms and severe weather. But despite being flexible, the platform is extremely strong. Its 351-foot tall lower base section has legs that measure 12 feet wide at their widest, with a steel thickness of 3.5 inches. The Baldpate Platform sits at a depth of roughly 1,650 feet, meaning the top 252 feet sticks out above the water's surface. According to the structure's plans, the facility's top sides consist of a 3-story deck structure for housing both equipment and workers. It's hard to appreciate the true size of offshore oil platforms, since they mostly tend to sit underwater. At first glance, the Baldpate Platform doesn't look very remarkable, but it's a truly massive structure. To give you an idea of the size, it was briefly the world's tallest freestanding structure and is taller than the 1,815-foot CN Tower in Toronto. 6. Petronus Platform. Built between 1997 and 2000, the Petronus Platform is located roughly 130 miles southeast of New Orleans in the Gulf of Mexico. Operated by Chevron, this tower-type rig weighs 47,400 tons and is 2,100 feet high from its base on the ocean floor to its tallest point. Some people considered it to be the world's tallest freestanding structure until the construction of the 2,722-foot Burj Khalifa in Dubai in 2010. The Petronus Platform sits at a depth of 1,754 feet, which means that the top 346 feet of the structure sticks up out of the water. The oil rig consists of a multi-level topside, which contains all the necessary equipment and pipelines, as well as housing for workers, an operations room, and a drilling rig. It gets the oil from the Petronus field, which was discovered in 1995 and was named after the Roman writer Gaius Petronus Arbiter. Construction on the platform began 2 years later, and at peak production, the Petronus Platform is capable of producing 60,000 barrels of crude oil and 100 million cubic feet of natural gas per day. Working on an offshore oil rig can be tough and dangerous, but many say that the pay is well worth it. Would you ever consider taking a job on a remote oil platform in the middle of the ocean? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. 5. Hiberia Platform. Located roughly 196 miles off St. John's, Newfoundland, the Hiberia Platform sits directly on the floor of the North Atlantic Ocean at a depth of 262 feet. It's situated within the Hiberia oil field, which was first discovered in 1979 following over a decade of exploration drilling. And since going into production in 1997, the Hiberia Platform has produced over 1,400 barrels of oil per day. With a gravity-based structure weighing 660,000 tons, a 41,000-ton topsides facility, and 500,000 tons of ballast holding its base in place, it's the world's largest oil platform by weight. The gravity-based structure contains storage tanks with enough room for the equivalent of 1.3 million barrels of crude oil. And in addition to holding the world record for its weight, the Hiberia Platform is also the first iceberg-resistant gravity-based structure. It's designed to withstand collisions with icebergs weighing up to 1.1 million tons. The base consists of a 348-foot concrete caisson, which is protected by a surrounding steel structure. And if production continues to go as planned, the Hiberia Platform will yield oil until at least 2040. But it will likely continue producing beyond that. What seems scarier, being stranded on an offshore oil rig in the middle of a hurricane, or being stuck in a really tall building during an extremely strong earthquake? Why does one seem better or worse than the other? Share your thoughts in the comments below, but first, subscribe. 4. Olympus Oil Platform, Mars B. The oil platform known as Olympus or Mars B is a type of mechanism called a tension leg platform oil rig. This vertically moored design is typically used for water depths exceeding roughly 1,000 feet. The Olympus platform operates at a depth of around 3,100 feet and produces the equivalent of about 100,000 barrels of oil per day. It's also one of the world's largest floating deep water platforms. Like several of the other oil platforms on today's list, the facility is mostly owned by Shell, with British Petroleum holding a small percentage of ownership. Located in the Gulf of Mexico, it was built in 2013 to increase production and to extend the life of an existing platform called Mars A, hopefully until 2050. Mars A and Mars B are each connected to 24 wells, amounting to a combined 48 wells and a peak production capacity of at least 350,000 barrels of oil per day. And at any given time, there are at least 192 employees working on Mars B alone. As of 2015, the Olympus platform had produced more than 700 million barrels of oil. And that number is undoubtedly much greater now and will continue to increase for the foreseeable future. 3. Perdido Platform. Perdido is the Spanish word for lost, but it's also the name of the world's deepest spar-like oil platform. It's located roughly 200 miles south of Galveston, Texas, in the Gulf of Mexico's Perdido Fold Belt region, which is rich in crude oil and natural gas. Operated by Shell in partnership with Chevron and British Petroleum, The 24,250-ton Perdido Spar, the marine structure used for oil and gas platforms, was built in 2010. It was transported 8,200 miles by barge from the Baltic Sea to the Gulf of Mexico, and after being floated, it was towed a final 120 miles to its current location, above the nearly 23,000-foot-deep Alaminos Canyon. The Perdido Platform's 3 decks, or topsides, support the oil and gas processing units, the drilling rig, and the workers' living quarters. Its spar acts as a platform for the development of 3 offshore oil fields known as Great White, Tobago, and Silvertip. And impressively, they hold an estimated 3 to 15 billion barrels worth of oil. During peak production, the facility processes an estimated 100,000 barrels of oil per day, and around 200 million cubic feet of natural gas. 22 of Perdido's 35 offshore wells are located directly beneath the spar, and the other 13 are located roughly 8 miles west of the platform. At any given moment, the platform is staffed by 172 employees, who work in 12-hour shifts for 2 weeks at a time, just to keep it running 24/7. 2. Stone's Floating Production, Storage, and Offloading Facility, FPSO. In 2013, 3 years after the Perdido platform went into production, Shell announced its plans to develop another oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. Officially called the Stone's Floating Production, Storage, and Offloading Facility, or the Stone's FPSO. It's located roughly 200 miles off the New Orleans coast. It's the world's deepest operating oil and gas project, extending a mind-boggling 9,500 feet below sea level. And to put its size into perspective, that's about 3.5 times the height of the 2,722-foot Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which currently holds the record for the world's tallest freestanding building. Dubbed Turritella, the FPSO is a converted tanker that remains in place at all times. Production began in September of 2016. The facility is currently connected to 2 wells, and there are plans in the works to expand the connections to 6 wells. Using a flexible part called a steel lazy wave riser to carry oil and gas to the surface, the rig produces an estimated 60,000 barrels worth of oil per day at peak production. According to estimates, the field holds the equivalent of more than 2 billion barrels of oil, making the Stone's FPSO a major contributor to the global oil industry. If you had to spend an extended amount of time working on one of the oil rigs on today's list, which one would you choose and why? Tell us your answer in the comments. 1. Burot Oil Rig. Located off Russia's Pacific coast near the island of Sakhalin, the Burot Oil Rig operates in a quiet corner of the globe where it doesn't seem like much is going on. But as they say, looks can be deceiving, and there is plenty happening within this gargantuan structure. Despite its seemingly uneventful existence in Russia's Far East, the 200,000-ton Burot Oil Rig is the largest oil platform in the world. It's situated 115 feet from the seafloor and has an oil extraction capacity of around 4.5 million tons per year. In addition to its sheer size and output, the Burot Rig is impressive for its ability to withstand subarctic conditions, including 60-foot waves and temperatures as low as -47.2 degrees Fahrenheit. It's capable of doing this thanks to its gravity-based design, which is anchored firmly into the seafloor. The platform can also withstand chunks of ice up to 6 feet thick. The Burot Oil Rig taps into what's known as the Arkutin Dagi oil reserves. Discovered in 1989, the Arkutin Dagi oil field is the 3rd and final part of the bigger project called Sakhalin-1. Before tapping into the reserve, experts spent 5 years exploring the site from 1996 to 2001. But production finally began in 2010. And in 2015, it was predicted that the Arkutin Dagi Reserve would continue to produce oil through 2050. The plan includes drilling a total of 45 wells, including 28 oil-producing wells throughout the oil field. And after being extracted, the oil is transferred to an onshore processing facility called Shevo through a 15.5-mile pipeline. Petroleum oil is exported, while natural gas is sold domestically. Do you think oil drilling is an essential part of life nowadays? Or do you think we should switch to a more eco-friendly alternative like solar power? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.